We're now going to talk about the future of virtual reality. And we're going to do that together with an amazing company that I saw for the first time, I think 5 or 6 years ago, the first time when I went to the New York Real Estate Tech Week. And wow, the image behind you is already amazing. David, how are you?
I'm doing well, Victor. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. It's great to have you with us. So I'm really looking forward to what you are going to show us about the future of virtual reality.
Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to it. I apologize. I started this morning, of course, with some sort of technical difficulty, so I hope everybody can see clearly. We did an update, and of course, things didn't work out as perfectly as I hoped to this morning. So thank you all very much from all parts of the world. My name is David Solomon. I am the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at SmartPixel. To give you a quick infomercial about who we are the developers of these incredible 3D virtual reality simulations. We do phenomenal work in real estate, engineering, infrastructure, manufacturing. We create the most impactful presentation and sales tools. And I'm taking advantage in the middle of COVID to be in my office to have the pleasure to show you some of our stuff in a little bit more of an impactful way. And that's how VR is working. And the 65 members of my team and I are very, very proud of what it is that we do. Wouter, I hope I'm coming in loud and clear and there's no bad sound. Okay. So a little bit, we have been doing projects all over the world, and I've been speaking to real estate developers for the last 15 months since COVID began. And the one thing that is inconsistent is that, people still believe in traditional methods when it comes up to how they should show off their projects. In what way should they show off their projects? And, one of my favorite quotes came from Albert Einstein, who said that the people who believe, that the definition of insanity is repeating the same action again and again and hoping for a different result. And I paraphrased it a little bit, but that's exactly what VR has become, has been that change to the industry as a whole, the shock into the industry that changes the result that is necessary. So what do I mean by that? That where VR had been used, and as you can see behind me, where virtual reality has been used traditionally since its inception a few years ago in the real estate sector, has been strictly in the sales department, making the presentation, showing off a project to customers. The issue here is that while this is now today's method, COVID has accelerated the demand and the need and the impact and what customers want to see in VR, but it's got even beyond that. So what has happened today is that virtual reality has not only has been around to impact the sales presentation, which I'll show you in a second, but now because of COVID and the inability to do face-to-face and physical meetings, what's interesting to see is that developers have recognized that VR also must be brought earlier on in the process, which means at the concept stage, at the approval stage, because now you're showing it to a variety of different stakeholders. Imagine you wanted to develop a project, some idea, some infrastructure, whatever it is, that you needed a government approval, investors, whatever it is that you need. You haven't even broken ground, you haven't even presented to the public. If you showed it like this to someone, they would get a super clear understanding of what the project and the vision is going to be. The notion of two-dimensional pictures, the notion of using any form of modeling, scale models, passé. Virtual reality, the idea of bringing a city, a project, something to life is right now the desired factor. So it's not only in the sales process, but it begins even earlier on. And where it's going is towards the digital twin, which is not the conversation for today. There are experts who are going to talk to you about digital twin in future here at these conferences. So the bottom line is, when you're talking about it, why? The question is why are people craving virtual reality and how are we going to use it? And the reason people are craving virtual reality is we're a visual species. We need to see it live. We need to see it in a way that we can understand it. And virtual reality, for those who've never really used it, is essentially bringing what exists to life, but also what doesn't exist to life. Property technology, if you're not invested in property technology today in this sense, you are leaving money on the table. According to our developers, what they're telling us is when they started using virtual reality earlier on in the process, at the concept stage, they got approvals faster, they got investors to buy in quicker. When they use it at the sales stage, they sold out faster. They were able to create a better demand, able to increase prices as the process was going because they accelerated their sales. That is what VR should do to your project. Now, what am I talking about? So as I have behind me here, really what VR should do is inform, wow, and impress. 15 months ago, you could have gone away with a simple-ish type of environment, a simple-ish building. But buyers today are used to seeing it now in absolute detail and want to see it in absolute detail. And so now what needs to be done is not only to bring your future project to life. This, by the way, is a 61-story building here in downtown Montreal, 2 blocks away from where I am right now. There hasn't been put a shovel in the ground. They started selling this in 2009. They sold out in the middle of a pandemic. Sight unseen, vast majority of customers not even showing up in their showroom. I'll explain that in a second. But essentially, what you want to do is to tell and inform people. More than 25% of people who bought into this project are not from Montreal. In fact, the vast majority of them are from Asia. So they don't know the city. They don't know what this looks like. They don't know what buildings are here. They don't know what a sunset would look like in Montreal or a nighttime in Montreal would be. They don't know about what's in and around the project. They don't know what, until they come and see it physically, how do you know what the building's going to look like? That's what VR should do. VR gives you the ability to create simulations, the ability to show people what it is that they might be seeing morning, noon, and night from their future apartment. The impact it will have on the environment is if you're talking to stakeholders like government officials, okay? This is what you want to show people. You want them to inform and visually enhance that view. Because yes, we could do a drone shot, but the problem with drone shots is that we know we have a height limit when we're taking these pictures. We know this is only at one point of the day. This is real, but not real. The simulated views that you create using virtual reality, creating that, gives a buyer an idea of what it is it's going to be like in reality, a virtual reality. You can showcase so much information if you want, telling people what the project will look like. Zoom in, zoom out. All this ability is there to enhance the experience. What's happened in the last 15 months is that buyers have not gone to showrooms. Presentations have not been done to government officials face-to-face because of COVID restrictions. So this now has gone from being the big 100-inch large screen to the laptop, to the small screen, where the requirement is to create the exact same face-to-face experience, the same showroom experience, but now virtually, remotely. And as a result, buyers crave more, want more, insist on more, demand more. Government officials want to see that. Those physical models do not work any longer. The two-dimensional pictures, the videos, they're nice. They don't have the same impact. So as a result, the idea is to create these kinds of worlds. Now the question is how do you show it? Okay, the question is, what else does a buyer really, really want? So let's take this situation over here. This is a situation in which we've had buyers who went to a kitchen. They went into an apartment and they said, they spent $250,000. Of course, the internet doesn't work when I need it. They spent $250,000. Imagine $250,000 on a model unit. And they realized that they didn't even need it. because buyers had a better recognition and a better understanding and a clearer view of the project by using virtual reality. They were able to change tiles. They were able to, my apologies, they were able to really get people super excited by changing tiles, colors, paint, swatches, you name it. Now, around me, I'm surrounded here in my office by a lot of screens. I've got this 100-inch screen. I've got an 8x1 video wall. I've got a 2x3 video. I've got large screens everywhere. But that's no longer enough. What's happened is that the same applications that you've seen here today, the same beauty, buyers want to see it in a completely more immersive way. And one of the ways that is happening right now is that if you go into some of our clients, they push us to an unbelievable limit to create even greater experiences. Imagine, if you will, walking into a dome, a 280-degree dome in which you simply immerse yourself into the project as if you're physically there. Here I know it's on the screen. I get the feeling, I can touch it, I can feel it, I can see that kind of ability. But imagine walking into a dome and literally feeling like you're walking into the building. Now, you would say, yeah, we used to do that with goggles. Yes, that was with goggles, and I had to move my head and had to change and this and that. Imagine standing inside of a dome, completely immersed in a project, bringing you through it. If you've been to an IMAX 360, you understand what I'm referring to. Imagine that kind of ability bringing your projects to life and that type of immersive experience. More and more buyers are demanding and craving this. So we've gone from the physical only showroom, we've gone to a remote experience where salespeople can make presentations to one or many having the same experience. And now as buyers are coming back to a showroom in a hybrid type of sense, it's how to give them even more information. So when the subject was the future of virtual reality, is technology is pushing us further and further, and buyers and stakeholders are pushing us further and further to make this as real as possible. Almost photo quality, it's unreal. They want to be able to move the sun, whether they're inside or outside, to be able to get a feel of what lighting would be like, about what their mood would feel like. Now, it doesn't work in every market. There are some markets that refuse to go to that level of detail, but still want a vague enough reality that if you can provide it to them, your stakeholders will invest more, governments will give you the approvals, you will sell out faster, and it's all with the same application. That's the idea, not to invest more, but to invest smartly. And that is what virtual reality should be giving you as we go forward. So today, as you're looking at what could you do for your developments and your projects, it's about VR. All of the studies are showing that VR makes the difference to the bottom line. Virtual reality, bringing your projects to life in this kind of realism will score the big goal for you. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Wouter, if you have any questions, I'm all ears.
Yeah, well, David, thank you very much. That's really amazing. I have a couple of questions for you. You mentioned a little bit about the digital twin. How are they coming together, the digital twin and the VR experience?
Fantastic question. And I'm not a digital twin expert, and I will be very quick to say this, is that the digital twin aspect of what we offer, or what VR offers, is the visual representation of what the sensors are going to pick up. So if you were looking to know where is there an accident, where a pipe burst, where the heat there's the heating problem, or whatever it is, there are the digital twin concept. Right now, all the sensors are generating reports and messaging. But imagine being able to see it in a visual sense, knowing it's that floor, that apartment. You can visualize it instead of saying apartment 4216 or the 4th floor or the 42nd floor, we're not sure where. The idea of twinning the visual with the sensors, that's the beauty of it, and that's going to help companies. We started talking about this last summer in many cases when we were in COVID, we could not go into buildings. This is now becoming more and more of a reality of twinning the visual with the sensors to be able to see rather than just get a report about what's going on.
Cool. Well, another question for you, because you guys are well, one of the first pioneers that really set the bar for virtual reality in this space, I guess. Well, I know for sure, but how does SmartPixel innovate? Because everything is changing so fast. New technologies are coming there so fast. How do you keep up?
It's a great question, Footer, and we are so fortunate to have a phenomenal research and development team who is spending inordinate amount of time looking at making this easier, faster, and more real. If I showed you a project three years ago, it wouldn't look as good. Now imagine, here's part of the tools. We're sitting in Montreal, and we've developed Tokyo, Hong Kong, Vienna, Austria, and a whole bunch of other cities, having never left Montreal. And everybody says, oh yeah, you use Google and this. No. It's not that simple to build up that kind of building using Google. You have to have the right tools. You have to be able to innovate. And it's about creating more of that, like I said, that realism. We're pushing hard. That's what our team is doing to find out. And I'll tell you, our customers have been phenomenal telling us what they need. One of the things that where we're going, Footer, is the idea of imagine being able to buy your property on your own without having to deal with a salesperson. They want us to create that kind of technology so to carry the buyer from the beginning to the end of the process using technology. So without the right kind of VR, you'll never get there.
So you're going to also combine more kind of technologies to really create that, probably.
100%, and that's the thing, is that just this as a standalone is good, but if it's not integrated, and that's the part of it, it needs to integrate and talk with your other devices and your other software. It's completely useless if you have to manually know which apartment is available or reserved. I mean, imagine, God forbid, you sold an apartment twice.
Yeah.
You know, the integration. Salespeople, look, I'm a salesperson, I'm a sales veteran, 30 years in the game. Salespeople, we are lazy. We don't like administration. If this isn't connected into a CRM where you track and follow the buyer from the beginning to the end of the process, salesperson is not going to remember, record it all. The system should do that for you and help you to close deals faster.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Hey, well, SmartPixel is 10 plus years right now. How has the real estate industry adapted virtual reality? Is it going faster? Is it going, what is happening?
I'm sorry, but you cut out there, I apologize.
Sorry, SmartPixel is already existing for 10 plus years. How fast is real estate adapting virtual reality right now?
Oh, sorry. Okay, I missed out that last one word. It cut out there. So SmartPixel, we're now actually 12 years in business, and for the we've been doing this mostly for the last 7 years. And we saw before COVID, we saw a complete hesitation. People told us this was a nice to have. This was a luxury item. COVID changed the mindset globally. US is a little slower to the game, but globally we saw a trend, and it's accelerating, Footer, where people are adapting this because they recognize the advantages of virtual reality when combined with real estate sales. So suddenly, Europe, Asia woke up very, 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 very fast and said, if we don't adapt this, we're falling behind.
Yeah, cool. Well, we have also some questions from the audience tuning in. So I have Stephanie Hamburger. She asked a question. Does your product VR run in the cloud internet? And what kind of infrastructure do you need to use it?
So we build all of our software on video gaming technology. So the two ways to use it, either with a gaming machine. If I showed you right behind this screen, there's a very powerful gaming computer, which you could use locally. I have a laptop that I take with me everywhere I go to make those same presentations. But our applications, because of COVID, our buyers were saying, how do I make the same effective presentation to someone who's in another city or in another country? And we've been able to put the same applications in the cloud. And now a salesperson can invite a buyer or buyers to a unique URL where the salesperson can make the same presentation as if they're in a showroom, but it's not a screen share. It's just what we call streaming, and it gives the ability to have the exact same feel as if you're in a showroom.
Yeah, cool. And one more question from Stephanie is, can you interact and communicate with people? So can they tag information or leave questions?
Yes, effectively, you know, if that's what the bot, like what we do here, and again, I don't want to sell SmartPixel, but I thank you for the question. We're custom software developers, so we can create any type of unique environment that is required. We've done this with most of our clientele. Because the software tends to be a one-on-one situation, the salesperson and the buyer are talking as this is occurring. So there isn't yet an independent an independent way of doing it. However, surprise, surprise, we are going to be putting this in the ability to have this integrated into websites so that, yes, buyers can leave information, can leave questions, can, exchange information, without having to talk to a person directly. That is coming up this year, part of the technological movement.
Cool. Well, a couple of more questions. You talked a little bit about the pandemic and the change the pandemic had. Do you really think that the positive impact of the pandemic, if you can talk about a positive impact of a pandemic, but the adoption of virtual reality really is a positive impact on that, will be here to stay in real estate? Or do you think we go back to normal after the pandemic is gone?
I think that there is no normal. Let's just put it that way. I think what we're seeing here is constant evolution. It's not just the pandemic, it's also buyers. We actually worked with a UI UX firm who did a study for us and found that millennials want more of this independent tours as opposed to going and talking to the salesperson. So the whole sales process was in the middle of a change anyways, thanks to millennials. Because of COVID, if you will, the positive impact of the pandemic for us is that this is here to stay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was already happening.
It's already happening because the buyers have been craving it. And if you don't do it, millennials will not be interested in talking to you as much as you think.
Yeah, cool. I think that's a great call to action. But do you have one more call to action to real estate people listening right now? What should they do from, tomorrow or today, actually?
Before you even finish the plans, think about how you're integrating virtual reality into your whole process. From the concept, talking to your architects, getting the approvals, all the way to the sales process. Don't wait for your marketing department to wake up. This is more of a capital expenditure that's going to save you a ton of money and accelerate the ROI on your project. Today, you need to start thinking about it then, not waiting for your marketing department to wake up and say, time to make money.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, David. It was a privilege to have you with us.
Thank you very much. Everybody stay well and stay safe in Future. And to everyone, thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Have a great day there.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.